Obviously, to really make effectively designed websites, we want to use images. And we can find images of just about anything on the internet. We can take images of our own and use those. And in some ways that can be even better. But it's very often the case that an image doesn't quite fit what you need. It might not be the right size, the right color. You just might want to combine some images to create something new. All of those are good things to do. In order to do that, you need to do some image editing. So I just wanted to take a minute, and I'm not purporting by any means to be an expert. I am very much a utilitarian when it comes to image editing. I learn exactly what I need to know in order to produce the effect that I'm trying to get in a specific situation. But I can share a few things with you to help get you started. And I suspect that several of you, maybe many of you, are going to far outstrip me in this as you start to play with different features in different software, and you'll be able to teach me a thing or two about image editing before this is all done. But at any rate, here are just a few simple things for some of the most common image editing needs that you might have. So I'm going to start by talking about a free image editor that's included on every PC, and that's an image editor called Paint. And there's something very similar on Apple products. If you use the Photos feature, the Photos tool in Apple, you can do just really similar things as well. But I'm working on a PC, so I'm going to show you Paint. And again, if you just type Paint into your search bar, you can find the app and just click on it that way. And you will get an interface that looks like this. Notice, some of the most useful things to me in here are the resizing, the cropping, and the rotating features, and all those are right here. So just for example, I'm going to go ahead and open one of the images that we were working with in this module. Remember this second image that was a little too big for its container? Let's go ahead and open up that one, and then we can resize it. So once you have an image open, you can just click on the resize. And notice it gives you percentage or pixels. Honestly, the pixels tells you a lot more about exactly what size that image is. Notice there's this checkbox here that says maintain aspect ratio. And we talked about that before. That's like in your HTML page. If you use CSS to set either height or width, and you don't set the other one, it will keep it proportional. And that's what the maintain aspect ratio is. In most cases, you want that to be the case. So let's make this image 250, exactly like the first image that we had on that page. And I'm sizing the vertical dimension in this case. And notice the horizontal dimension automatically went to 148. So if I had not maintained the aspect ratio, and I'll just show you an example of that in a second here. So if I had not maintained the aspect ratio, when I put in the 250 here, it remains 214 for horizontal. That is going to distort my image. So I don't want that. I want to maintain the aspect ratio in this case. If you are using something like an abstract background image, maybe you do want to have that distortion and it wouldn't matter. But in this case, we definitely want to maintain the aspect ratio. Okay, so that just makes the image a little bit smaller, and then I can just save, and then I'm done. It's still a JPEG, and that's all set. What about something else that we want to, let's say, rotate? I'm just going to go ahead and open a new file. So let's say this background here, we wanted to use for something where we needed it to have a broader vertical dimension than the horizontal. And go ahead and open this one. Okay, and this one's very large, so I'm going to go ahead and resize down here so I can actually see the whole image that I'm working with. And then let's say we want to rotate it again so that we're going to get the vertical dimension to be the taller dimension here. So this is where we can decide if we want to rotate left 90 or right 90. I'm going to do the rotate left 90 actually. And then that went ahead and rotated our image. If we were using this like we did as an image, background image on a page, maybe we want it to have more vertical dimension than horizontal dimension for the sake of the page that we're using it on. So it could be useful in that sense. And then let's say we wanted to crop an image. And again, we can use this one because it's a really huge image. So let's say we wanted to crop out just a piece of this that we wanted to use. Like let's say this light part on the left is too light for what we want. We'd rather have all of it be a little bit darker. And then I'm going to take the select tool here and just draw a rectangle over the part that I want. And then I hit crop. And then that will create a new image. And again, remember, we sized that way down. So if we bring it back to the 100%, you can see this is actually still a pretty large image. And in this case, we might want to save this as a new image. And remember what we talked about in terms of using the correct file type for your application. In this case, this is a more photographic, realistic looking image. So we're going to save it as a JPEG. That would be the appropriate file type to use for this type of image. And maybe we just call this one BG04. Those are just some really simple, quick types of edits, and I'm sure you can think of lots of different applications for resizing, rotating, and cropping. And so that's just a real easy way to accomplish it in Paint. You can also do all of these things in default image editors like Photos that you have on Apple products.